What's going on, everybody? Duane from Two Goalies, One Mic here with your first edition of I'll Hang Up and Listen for the 2021-2022 Buffalo Sabres season. And guys, before we start, I'm going to sing for you a little tune that normally I hate, but today I love. Tonight I absolutely love it. It starts and goes like this. Ole, 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 ole. Who doesn't love singing that song, what it entails, sending those Habs home to Montreal? See you later. Blew you out of the KeyBank Center. KeyBank Center, 5-1. Go home crying. I love it. The only thing that could have made this better is if there were Montreal Canadiens fans in the house, so we could sing that song to them as they get ready to hop on the 190 North to head back to Canada. See you later. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. But with that being said, guys, just an unbelievable effort tonight by the Buffalo Sabres. And let's start with Don Granato, Donnie Meatballs. Let me tell you, man, when he took over as the Sabres bench boss last season, you saw a slow change in culture with this team. And one of the things that stood out to me the most, that was night and day between him and Ralph Krueger, was his ability to adapt and put his players in a system that put them in positions to succeed. Whereas Ralph Krueger had his system, is very defensively minded, very defensively focused, and he had a bunch of offensively skilled hockey players, and it just didn't mesh well with those players, but he wasn't willing to adapt. Donnie Meatballs will adapt, and his system, just to begin with, is very high intensity, fast paced, transition hockey. You know, they play it from what it looked like, and I was there tonight to watch it firsthand. In his system, this team is going to compete every single night as long as your feet are moving. It's not a slow-paced system. You're constantly moving. It's high intensity. And one of the things I said, especially during our season preview episode of Two Goalies with Mike, was that, you know, even if there's a lack of skill with this team right now, and that's not to, you know, say anything negative about these players. I mean, I think I'm saying something that everyone else has said too, but they are going to be really, really difficult to play against because you have a lot of players on this roster that have something to prove. They're trying to earn their keep. Some players are trying to earn a next contract. So every single time they go out there, it's like that feeling. It's like, if I don't perform tonight, Don Granato's the type of guy who's not going to be afraid to sit me down, and it's going to be next man up. Don Granato's gone on and said that. You have a guy like Arttu Ristolainen, who was on the outside looking in tonight, who's, you know, salivating to get into this lineup. He's waiting. He's hungry. And that's just what this team needs. This is what this fan base needs, because we've been begging and dying for a team that's just willing to go out there every single night and work their asses off, because they know how much this team means to us, the fans. And they played like that tonight. They gave that kind of effort. They played for us. And that's what it felt like, man. That was the most fun I've had at a hockey game in the last 2 years, easily. And, you know, I'm looking for, if you're going to tell me I'm going to get that kind of effort every single game, win or lose, I'm all on board. Because that's all we've wanted, man. You know, I'm not going to sit there and make this a direct comparison, but it reminds me of that 96, 97 team, you know, the hardest working team in hockey. Come to the games, the fan wearing a hard hat. You know, Ray, May, the Boogeyman, Bobby Boopner, Barnaby, just all those guys who made teams scared to come play in Buffalo. But you know what? Like, obviously we don't have those types of players that play that type of game, but you know, in that first period, especially in the beginning, man, Kyle Ekposo was throwing his body around, throwing hard hits. Darlene too. Like you saw, everybody was willing to lay their body on the line for the betterment of the team, and that's just what we wanted as fans. Am I right? Like we haven't had that in such a long time. And I remember sitting at the game next to producer Steve, and I was getting text message from friends and in group chats, like, who are these guys? Like, where did this come from? Like, go out there and you leave it all on the ice. And that's all we've wanted as fans, man. And it was such a breath of fresh air to see out there. And I can't state that enough. If you're going to give us that kind of effort every single night, man, you're going to see an arena, again, win or lose, it's going to start to get a lot more full, because that's what we've wanted, man. We appreciate the effort, and the talk about potential and, hopefully, possibly, look to the future. That kind of talk is over. Time is now. Let's start this now. Let's start this transition to winning hockey now. And granted, it doesn't have to be winning immediately, but make it hard for teams to come in here and play. And it's not just a guaranteed 2 points anymore. That's all I ask. That's all the fans ask. And that will eventually translate into winning hockey. Maybe not necessarily this season, but the next season, the following season after that, when you have players that are developing more. Dylan Cousins, every single game is going to develop more and more of a leader. Guys going to continue to put on more weight. Same thing at Rasmus Dahlin. You hope that, even though he's getting paid an insane amount of money, Jeff Skinner takes on more of a leadership role and starts to put the puck in the back of the net again. These guys are going to start to really mesh under Granato's system, and they look like they're a family. That's the biggest thing, man. Like, that is the thing that stood out the most to me. And, the story of this season, outside of that, is obviously going to be Rick Jeanneret, RJ, and let's give him something to at least smile about every time he's calling a game. I know he loves this city, and he always he made comments that him and the Buffalo Sabres were a match made in heaven. Well, coming into the night before this game started, I was depressed, because it's like he's going to go out there and he's going to look at an arena of like 7,000 people, and that in this city in Buffalo, New York, which is a hockey city at heart, that's not right, and he deserves better than that. I hope that this team and this effort that they're going to give in every single night, if they give that effort, that arena is going to start to get more full and more full. So hats off to Don Granato. Unbelievable. Yeah, that was another thing too, is another big issues with last season was they never looked ready out of the gate. They never looked prepared to play. The Sabres were prepared to play. It looked like, I was just on with Andrew Berkshire and Brock McGillis on Andrew's show, Game Over, with the Steve Dangle Podcast Network. And one of the things, he said was, Montreal just didn't look ready to play. They weren't looking prepared. It looked like Don Granato had been watching tape. 100%, man. That's exactly what it looked like. And that's something that's been missing behind our bench. A guy that's willing to put in those man hours to study the opponent and know how to prepare his team and what they're going to be ready for. Because the Sabres, that north-south hockey was near perfect tonight. Their transition game was perfect tonight. They're playing the neutral zone. Montreal played a very aggressive style in the neutral zone to try and create turnovers, and Buffalo was ready for that. We saw it with Kyle Okposo coming out of the neutral zone there in the first period. I was blown away. Guy pulled a toe coming out of the neutral zone. Guy left his forgot his jock strap, and floats a pass over to Cody Eakin for a phenomenal scoring chance. You were creating small odd man rushes in small areas of the ice, especially below the hash marks all game. And let's not talk about special teams. Sabres won all the special teams battles, man. They looked phenomenal on the power play tonight. And another guy I want to talk about, Tage Thompson at center. He didn't look out of place tonight. He really didn't. And he took that spot that normally is held by Jack Eichel on that power play unit. He took a couple shots, that we're normally used to seeing Jack take from that faceoff circle, and he didn't look out of place over there. The guy has a shot. He has a cannon, and again, another guy that looked night and day compared to what he was last year. He used to overhandle the puck, didn't use his body to his advantage a lot of the time. The way he was able to use his body tonight to protect pucks and his reach, to keep the puck out of reach of defenders, it was pretty prevalent. And, I know this is just one game, but, if this is a sign of things to come for Tage Thompson, I'm looking forward to it. We're never going to win that Ryan O'Reilly trade. There's nothing Tage Thompson's going to do unless he goes on and have an MVP season and leads us to a Stanley Cup. there's nothing Tage Thompson is ever going to be able to do to justify the return on that trade. But you want to know what? He is taking steps in the right direction, and that was a guy that I enjoyed watching tonight for sure. Anders Bjork with the goal too. Another guy too, had a little pressure on him. He's playing for a future contract on this team. And, obviously we were all kind of upset with the return on the Taylor Hall trade. He's the guy that came back in that. So I hope he's still playing with a chip on his shoulder. He has something to prove too. So just a lot to be excited about with this game tonight. Again, 5-1 finish, final score. Sabres absolutely annihilated the Montreal Canadiens. If you're just hopping in, it's just absolute fun to watch. Hockey was fun tonight to watch, and I can't stress that enough, man. I had so much fun tonight watching that game. I'm glad I could catch that game with producer Steve. So another talking point too tonight, definitely player of the game for me, without a doubt. And honorable mention too after that, but player of the game for me was Craig Anderson. 40-year-old Craig Anderson, 35 saves on 36 shots. Guy looked phenomenal, man. He looked quick out there. His puck tracking was phenomenal. He wasn't playing too deep in the paint, and just the reflexes were there, man. I'm a big fan of Craig Anderson. Back when he was making that playoff run with Ottawa, they just fell short of making the finals. But, I loved his story, the story of his wife and how she battled as a cancer survivor, his wife, Nicole. So, hats off to him, man. Unbelievable debut for the Buffalo Sabres tonight. I'm going to start the chant. Craig Anderson for Vezina. You heard it here first. Just kidding. But honorable mention, though, hands down, without a doubt. And I think tonight he played the best game he's ever played in a Buffalo uniform, Kyle Okposo. Now, you heard that right. I said Kyle Okposo. You're not going to find a bigger critic of that guy than me over the past couple of years. He's a great guy. I'm sure, I've always been sure of that. Probably good for the locker room, but I've been a big critic of his, just never earning that contract. I've always kind of accused him of, kind of being complacent and just kind of here for the ride. He looked phenomenal tonight. Absolutely phenomenal. He was dangling. The guy was playing well on the boards. He was extremely physical. He looked like a completely different player. He put that A on his jersey, and you have to believe he took that very seriously. He takes it to heart, and hands down. And I believe Rick Jenneret even said it after, during the game. He said, this is the best game I've ever seen him play in a Buffalo uniform. And I tend to agree. Kyle Okposo looked phenomenal tonight. And, couple clicks for Craig Anderson and Kyle Okposo tonight. Couple clicks for the Buffalo Sabres. So with that being said, guys, just unbelievable effort top to bottom tonight. We have Arizona next, I believe, either maybe tomorrow or Saturday. I can't remember. But looking forward to that. Let's go 2-0, baby. Let's get cup crazy, right? No, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. But just so you guys want to remember that this episode of I'll Hang Up and Listen is, of course, brought to you by Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case. What's your outlet? Get over there. They have a lot of options. Whenever I, need to pick up, either, some adult beverages for a Bills or a Sabres game, I always head over to Outlet Liquor. So with that being said, guys, have a great night. And I have 3 words for you. Let's go Sabres.